Welcome dear learners to my YouTube channel Learn with Shivi. I am Shivi Gupta and today we are going to understand the lesson Fire, Friend and Foe. But before that, I would request you to please like, share and subscribe to my YouTube channel Learn with Shivi. Now, without further ado, let's get started. In the very beginning of the chapter, we are told how early men didn't know what fire was. But we as modern humans, we do know what fire actually is. Whenever oxygen and fuel combine, a chemical reaction takes place. And in that process, an energy is released in the form of heat and light, which is known as fire. So basically, fire can take place only if the three elements are present together. And what are these three elements? These are fuel, heat and oxygen. If even one element out of these three elements is missing, then fire will not take place. For example, if some wood or paper is lying around you, then you must have observed that the fire cannot catch itself up. Only if some kind of heat is provided to that piece of wood, then only it will catch fire. Now, because of the many uses and the advantages and disadvantages that the fire has, it is known as a friend and a foe. A fire is known as a good servant and a bad master also. How is it known as a good servant? It is a good servant because of its ability to help us in our day-to-day course if used in a controlled manner. For example, you do know that fire is used to cook tasty food by your parents, right? But a fire can be a bad master also if it is not used in a controlled manner. It can take away lives, it can take away homes, and it can cause a lot of trouble and loss of property as well. Just as there are three main things that help ignite a fire, there are three main ways as well which can help you to prevent it, or we can say to stop it. And obviously it will include cutting down one of the three elements that are helping to fuel the fire. The first way to stop fire is to stop adding fuel to it. Sometimes to just let the fire be and not add fuel to it helps to stop it. The second way can be cutting down the oxygen supply that is provided to the fire. In movies you would have seen that the person who is caught in fire is usually covered with a wet blanket. And why do they do so? They do so to stop the oxygen supply. And the third possible way to stop fire from growing can be removing the heat. If the temperature can be brought down below the flash point, then the fuel will stop burning. But what is a flash point? A flash point is a particular temperature at which any object begins to burn. Flash point is also known as kindling temperature because of its property of kindling or igniting the fire. If by any means the temperature of the atmosphere or the thing that is catching fire can be brought down, then the fire will automatically stop, because we have already learnt that the three main things are important. Oxygen, fuel and heat are important to grow or ignite some fire. And in the absence of any of these three things, fire will not grow. It will cease wherever it is. But what about those fires which cannot be put out with water? For example, oil fire and electrical fire. What will you do in such case? Because if you go on pouring water on oil fire, then what will happen is that the oil will start floating on the water, and water as a carrier will keep taking it at a speed in various directions, and the fire will keep growing. And similarly, if you try to pour water or spray water or sprinkle water on an electrical fire, then what will happen is then the source from which the water is coming can get the electrical current, and the person who is throwing water can get an electric shock and can die there and then. So what will you do in such cases? In such cases, what comes handy is a fire extinguisher. A fire extinguisher is very useful and helpful in cases where water cannot be used to put out fire. Learners, do you know what did people used to do in earlier times when there were no fire brigades? People used to become firefighters themselves. They used to form human chains, which at times they do form even now. They used to form those human chains, and they would pass on buckets of water from a well or a pond to the place which was caught in fire, and they would help each other to put out that fire. And why was there a high chance of fire at that time? It was so because of the absence of space between two buildings. So people were much concerned about each other, and they were very, enthusiastic about putting out fire at the earliest as possible. But now what do we have? We have some people, we have some personals who are specially trained to put out fires, and those are firemen, which we also know as fire brigade. So what do these people do? They are specialists in putting out fire, but not only that, they possess several other qualities too. They can help people with first aid. They can help pull down walls which become dangerous due to fire, and various other things. So in this chapter, basically we are told that fire can be your friend if used in a controlled manner, but it can become a foe, an enemy, if not used in a controlled manner. If left untamed, it can become the most dangerous enemy one can ever have. But thanks to modernization, humans have come up with ways to prevent fire and to stop it at the earliest. This was all about this lesson. I hope you've understood it well. If you still have any doubts, please let me know in the comment section below. And we'll meet in the next video. Till then, take care, stay home and stay safe. And also, do not forget to like, share and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Learn with Shivi.